Welcome to the Arcfluence podcast, where we talk about how design impacts the way we live, work, and invest. I'm Nick Caracan, your host, and with me today, as usual, is Paul Fatkins. How you doing, Paul?
Good. The rain went away, which I am very happy about. So I like the sun.
You know, Paul,
and it's like the summer. Summer is also going away here. So I want every bit of sun that we can get.
I love these weather updates and commentary when I ask how you're doing.
Yeah. It's tied to the weather. It really is.
It's a big part of your life. If the weather's good, you're good.
Do you know I'm already thinking about winter too and snow? I am. We ski.
Your snow tires?
Well, not that necessarily, but we ski. So I'm thinking about where we're going to go this year, all that kind of stuff.
There's always snow somewhere in the world, Paul. That shouldn't limit you to skiing if you love it so much.
Sure, but obviously we don't go. It's not like we travel around the world to ski all the time.
Let's set some goals.
Yeah.
Let's have that conversation.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, today it's just me and Paul. We're talking about a new purchase we just made. We're actually digging into the scanning topic.
We kind of touched on it before in a previous episode. I forget what number exactly. It was like episode 10 or 12 or whatever.
We'll have Danny reference that in our show notes.
But we had one of the topics we had touched on scanning in particular. We covered a range of topics on architectural tools and drawing techniques and rendering, and technology in the practice was one of the topics where we talked about scanning. But today is all scanning.
All scanning. And Paul, you've given presentations at AIA conventions at the state level for scanning.
Yeah, last year at the conference for Ohio, we did, I did a talk on scanning.
Yep.
Talked about some of the past projects where I've had exposure to some of this stuff outside of Arcfluence, and outside of anything that you or I have done together. That's kind of what got me exposed and aware of all this technology. So
for our listeners, we are going to let's do a real high level on how this has changed our lives and the way our business and the way we operate. And we're going to talk a little bit, Paul, about the G1 BLK 360 and all the successes we've had with it and why we're buying the next generation.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of go back to the genesis of everything here at the beginning, it's like the exposure of it and learning about the ability of this technology was just like mind blowing for me. I mean, to go out there and have this tool capture everything that's in front of you accurately and then take it and transport it into the computer for reference to build on top of. I mean, it was like, wow, this is great. We should do this on every single project, on every single thing that we do. Obviously when we were doing it back then, it was only certain use cases that we were using it for. It's not like even working at a couple 100-person firm in Chicago, we weren't using it on every single project. When I got to Larson here in Columbus, they were using it quite a bit more. So I mean, that kind of like methodology I really connected with. And that's why, when you and I were having the conversation and looking into to get into this realm of scanning, it's like, we need to take this approach. Every project, everything documented, scanned at the beginning of the process, so we can have it, for our records and for our work to basically draw on top of.
Yeah, and I would go as far as to say it's one of the catalysts or one of the variables that it's promoting virtually, like certainly for all our projects, 3D model building. Like there were 2D aspects that we did back in the day in some cases, right?
I think originally for the first couple 2-3 things that you and I did together, this is back before we joined forces and founded Arcfluence, a long time ago. I think that was like CAD drawings, like 2D drawings, and you were even using some other drawing web portal tool, 20
for kitchen and bath design.
20.
That's because
whatever it is.
I forget the name.
Do you know what it is?
Isn't
it the 2020? Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, it is 2020. Yeah,
okay,
you're right.
Okay.
And it spec'd cabinetry, and it was.
But it gave you a little diagram, right? At
absolutely.
The end of the day.
No, it was geared to draw kitchens and baths at a very high level, and then sell the product and spec the product within the drawing. So it had its purpose.
Yeah. I mean, looking back to that is crazy to think that we were doing that, right? And there's
still some some firms that don't draw in Revit and do 3D modeling. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be in 3D is fun because, yeah, the client wants to see something. It's easy to just pull up the model and show them, right? You just open it, you give them a sense of what it looks like. We might not be doing a rendering of it where we have materials and lighting and all kinds of crazy stuff going on to make it look beautiful and photorealistic.
But we're getting an idea of the volume of the space planning aspect of it. Yeah.
I think it's tremendously helpful. So I know that when we first got into scanning, I mean, it was like, we got to do this, but it was like the cost was such a shock.
Could we even do this? I was thinking.
That's why we started down a different way first, right? Before we finally circled back and just said, okay, we're going to, go all in.
Yeah. What was our first scanner that we bought?
The first one I don't even think was technically a scanner. It was a device for, it was like your phone, iPad LiDAR sensor
attached to the phone.
And then
you had to paint the room.
Then there was an upgrade where you attached a secondary sensor to your iPad or iPhone. So it was like in addition to that LiDAR sensor, and it was terrible, not accurate.
I know. By the time we put in the time to deal with getting that scan, it was just like, this is not really that good anyway.
Yeah, it was, for what it was okay. But I mean, if you're talking about an architectural firm doing true, accurate architectural drawings and being able to say with confidence, yeah, that's 10 inches between this side of the wall and that side of the wall, like there's no way you could do that with the phone device. That's why like the Matterport was the next step.
Yeah.
And more affordable, like, $5,000 is not anything to shake a stick at, but I mean, not bad compared to where we are now.
Right. I can not imagine only paying $5,000 for a scanner. That would be lovely.
Yeah. Well, and Matterport had its own issues, which we won't go into too much detail on, but I mean, that was definitely a step in the right direction.
To keep in mind, that was a long time ago too, and they've made improvements on their technology too.
They have made improvements too, but there's still drawbacks that are still there.
Yep.
Right. With how you have to rely on them for certain. Anyway.
Sure.
I mean, like I said, step in the right direction. But then when and we use Matterport for, I don't know, 50, 60 different, like we were using them for quite a while.
Well, let's call it out. I mean, one of the reasons we moved away from Matterport is because we had to pay for a monthly subscription to store and house all of the material. We didn't own that intellectual property.
Yeah, they had it on their servers, and if we didn't pay, they just wiped it.
Right.
Okay, your stuff is gone.
Right.
You couldn't download it and save it, and it wasn't your files really. It was kind of like their files.
Mm-hmm.
So that bothered me. And then again, the accuracy, right? Obviously, like you said, it's gotten better over time, but even still, it's not quite as accurate as some of the other stuff out there. So can you remember how you felt though when I came to you with the idea to actually get what we have now? Were you like...
No, I was really excited. No, you were excited, and I fed off that energy, and I'm just like, no, this is going to take us to the next level. I want to do the best architecture we possibly can and make our lives easier. Yeah. And then you showed me the price tag. And I was just like, that's funny. We don't even make that in a year right now.
No, you were making that in a year. You definitely were making it in a year.
Fine, but it was
in a month or not in a, right? Like it was, it was a big price tag. So
I think, and it was obviously less expensive than it is today, but I think our first BLK that we bought through Leica was $26,000. I think that was the loan amount that we took. $26,000 for that included the accessories and everything.
Yeah, tripod and batteries and all that kind of stuff.
And we obviously couldn't afford it out of pocket, so we did get a loan on that one and financed it up for 5 years.
Yeah, which we paid off last year, or it was paid off last year.
A year early, yes.
Yeah.
So we got an offer from Leica to trade in our old equipment, and I had not realized that 5 years had gone by, but at a certain point you have to recalibrate the equipment and there's upkeep on this stuff. And of course they come out with better technology.
Yeah. Well, like any, product based around technology. Yeah. There's always improvements and upgrades to be had. I'm sure 5 years from now, there'll be yet another version of this scanner that comes out.
I bet they're working on it now.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure in some regards they are, for sure.
So let's talk about the specifications of the G1 first generation versus the Gen 2.
Yeah. From what I understand, big picture, it's just all around better. I mean, what do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the cameras? Do you want to start with the speed?
Yeah, before we get into the specifics, let's also just kind of just blanket this conversation with, they've come out with different types of models as well. Now, they've always had higher end versions, but now they have...
Oh, yeah, their higher end stuff is insane.
But now you have a handheld scanner that you can walk with at a higher price point, less accuracy. There's some positives and negatives with each of these, but they have robot mounted lidars.
That one, I would love to have the robot dog one.
Yeah, I know.
With it mounted.
Hey, as soon as I can afford a dog, he's gonna be on all the time next to me, just playing with my real dogs. It's gonna be great.
Keep them busy.
Yeah.
You'll put a treat or something on his tail and just the robot dog, and have the robot dog just walk and your dogs chase him.
There you go.
So
they have a drone mounted lidar, so this thing will literally fly around buildings and scan, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, the drone stuff is definitely the units that mount to drones are very interesting too. Like there's different companies that focus solely on the portable system. So like they have like a backpack version, a drone version. I think I mentioned it before, maybe on one of the other episodes. It's the Rock LiDAR company, and they actually have models that are on drones. And then what's his name, Mark Rober, the YouTuber, he snuck one into Disney World,
Space Mountain,
or is Disneyland, Disney World,
Disney World.
Yeah, so he went into Space Mountain and mapped out the whole roller coaster because it's all inside in the dark. And he's like, I really want to know what this thing is like in 3D.
Yeah.
So
no, that was fun. Okay, so I think those types of things, while they have a higher price point and are very interesting, are also specific to niches in the industry also.
Yeah, I mean, to have a handheld one, it's like speed is of the essence, or, you can sacrifice accuracy.
Yeah.
A little bit, like you said, it's not as accurate. Yeah, there are certain use cases for it.
So we're going to stick with the BLK 360, which is the bedrock.
I think, so the BLK is like their series, and obviously, like you said, they've expanded it, but I think the Gen 1 was, like you said, that was the first BLK scanner that they came out with before they came out with all these other iterations. Right.
And they do have the RTC 360, which is for large commercial scale. Yeah. I mean, even the BLK can handle mid-size commercial, no problem on high res. The RTC is for,
if you have a freaking 60-story building that you need documented, or
warehouses where it actually can get the diameter of the ductwork and the piping, and
if you have like a 2-inch pipe that's 100 feet in the air or something, like a big aircraft hangar or something, like it would be able to capture it no problem. It's a little bit more accurate, and like the speed and the photo, but its price is 4 times more.
Yeah,
the BLK
6
series.
Figures.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to talk about why the BLK, and what are the differences between Gen 1 versus Gen 2?
Maybe 5 years from now, we can get the RTC.
I mean, right. Because we're going to be doing hospitals and skyscrapers, right?
I hope so, right? So.
All right. So I think one of the challenges for us using Gen 1 is that we would turn off our the photo option, because it does laser scanning, and it also takes images of everything that's around it in 360, and we would turn the photo toggle off to save time.
Yeah. So the settings on the Gen 1 device, you can have photos on off, and then there's another option to even have an HDR image, which is like high dynamic range, and you bracket the exposure. So it takes an image that is like super bright, so that all the areas in shadow look normal. And then it takes areas super dark, so all the areas like in direct light look normal. And then it stitches but at the end of the day, all that extra photo taking and spinning around like tripled, quadrupled the time.
And the battery use.
Yeah. And the time already was significant, several minutes per location. And sometimes we're scanning like 100 different locations on one job.
Yeah. So we turned it off to save time, because on larger projects, like say we have an 8,000 square foot custom home, it would take us most of the day.
We would be at a couple hundred, not 100, couple hundred. So you're 200-300 scans.
Right.
Yeah. And then you're talking for 6 hours of time, easily half of the day, if not more.
And usually we go on site together. I'm talking to the client, you're scanning.
Yeah. You run out of stuff to talk about.
yeah, it's awkward.
You're like,
so
can you wrap this up? Come on. I don't know what else.
So speed wise on Gen 1, if we had the camera setting on, we're looking at several minutes per scan. Whereas we're getting the same.
Oh, I think it's like almost 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I think highest setting camera, HDR. Yeah. It's like something like that. Ridiculous.
Gen 2 is 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah. And the way they do the photos, I guess, is different now too. Like it's not a separate HDR function from what I understand. And it's like, it's based on the conditions. It kind of does it automatically. And it's just like photos on off. And so even with photos and all the scan data, and then it compiles everything. And when you get our point cloud, like it'll be an RGB coloration too.
Right.
So like it'll be a much more accurate representation of what's there. I mean, 20, 30, how can you beat that?
No, well, it'll go, because I mean, right now, what do we average? About 2 hours on site for a standard house or a small commercial space?
Two, a little bit above 2, I would say. But 2 hours is a guarantee pretty much.
So
even a smaller job, we get close to 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to easily cut that in half. Easily.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, we still have to, you still have to go point to point, and there's still time in between and time to like stitch and check. So like none of that gets changed. All that's the same. But the individual scans itself, if you take 100, scans and you're shaving off a minute and a half for 100 scans. Was that an hour of time at least?
Yeah, I just calculated if we are saving even
a minute is 100 minutes.
But if we're saving just 100 hours a year, the two of us together, based on hourly wages and stuff, like that would pay for the scanner. That
it would pay for the scanner probably times 3, times 4.
Not quite, but
whatever times a couple.
I'm saying just in year one.
Yeah.
Just in year one, it's a little over the cost of one of the scanner.
Yeah, the time savings is, I mean, like when they were like, oh yeah, we'll pay you to swap out your old device for the new device. It's like, this is a no-brainer, Nick. Like we got to do this. Like not only is it going to be a little bit more accurate, like the speed alone makes it worth it. Even if everything was the same, with the photos quality and the scan, like everything exactly the same, speed alone worth it.
But it's not. So let's talk about those other benefits and changes for Gen 2. So there's a 3-camera system now.
Oh wait, you're looking at Gen 1 or Gen 2?
Oh,
I'm
sorry. There's
camera.
A 4-camera system.
Yeah,
with a 5-bracket HDR.
Yeah, so that's that high dynamic range that does it automatically in the background. Versus the old one, it was 3 and 3. So there was a top, middle, bottom camera, and then it would do just 3 brackets: one brighter, one darker, and then one normally exposed.
Oh, this one's fun. I remember when we were doing data transfers and the Wi-Fi was sketchy, and you had to spend all this extra time waiting for that download. And now they have a USB-C that you can also use in addition to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean, like again, that Wi-Fi connecting to this and downloading everything. Having that connection to plug in is just going to be, again, game changer in terms of speed and getting all the data off of there.
What is this 3D point accuracy?
So again, that's how accurate your data is going to be coming in. So the old one was 6 millimeters and the new one's 4 millimeters. I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but 6 millimeters.
We're in imperial measurements here.
Okay, so about 1/4 of an inch for the old, 4 millimeters to inches, and that's at a certain distance. So at 30 feet, because the further away from the scanner you get, the accuracy breaks down a little bit. So they set the distance fairly far out from the scanner. So when you're closer, it's a little bit more accurate. But at that 10-meter distance, around 30 feet, the new scanner is going to be accurate to about 1/8 of an inch, 0.15 inch.
Wow.
So And that's at 30 feet away from the scanner.
It still brings me back to the days where we measured by hand, and then I'd go home to draw in CAD or...
No, you would send me the paper that had your notes on it, and you'd ask someone else to draw it.
Well, at the end of the day...
And then you'd be like, why doesn't it make sense? Because it doesn't. Look at it. Oh, yeah, I guess it doesn't. Okay, I'll go back to the site again.
Yeah, we haven't had to do that in years. So cool.
I think one time you ended up going to the site like 10 different times.
I think that's what pushed me over to buy a scanner. I'm like, okay, we got to do this.
Yeah. You're like, it's enough going back and forth.
Yep. And then, of course, the new Gen 2 model is going to be a little smaller, a little lighter than the Gen 1.
Yeah. The measurement rate, too. So this is part of the speed, right? The old one, 360,000 points per second. The new one is not quite double, but 680,000
about
points
half
per second. Yeah. So it's like, I think the speed increase is really on the photo side. Because again, like having the photos on with the original generation model was just like painful to go through and scan a project with photos. So I'm definitely excited to do that. And even like share the model, if it calls for it with people.
Yeah. Also, we had to wipe. We have more storage on the Gen 2 model. So I mean, I remember we had to wipe each scan because after a certain amount of scans.
Yeah, that'll be nice too, because it's a little painful to do that because it's not super responsive. I bet you it wipes the data faster too.
Yeah, I mean, also if you don't remember to do it when you get home after scan, we end up doing it at the job when we're scanning, and I'm just like, what's taking us so long to get started, Paul?
Yeah. Well, because it's like, you don't do it after every job because it's a process.
Yeah,
it really is, and. Yeah, you just wait until you hit the wall, and then when you hit the wall, you're like, okay, now I got to do it. And yeah, like you said, usually you're on site, and you're like, okay, give me 15 minutes here to do this one scan because I got to clear everything first before I can even scan.
Right.
So,
anything else you want to add to that?
I mean, like again, I'm just fairly excited to get to use it. I think the tools that are available have just taken a huge step. Like you said, 5 years is not a long time, but I mean, like honestly, next is going to be game changing. I think for us to be able to get into a site, to document things quickly and get out and not spend all that time on site.
I bet we'll be right in sync. Like I'll still be doing my design consultation that first hour. You'll probably wrap up in 45 minutes, and you can join the end of the conversation.
Clients might not like you as much now because you'll have less chit chat, friendly banter.
Oh, was that a compliment?
Yeah, I'm saying like you got good friendly banter. So now it's just going to be all project related stuff, and then it's going to be like, oh, you're done, Paul? We got to go.
You're right. I'm gonna be like, sorry, Paul's done. We're out of here. I'm not talking anymore.
Sorry, I got other stuff to do. So. Yeah, the other thing to mention too, aside from BLK stepping it up, the software that we use in the point cloud viewing and processing, and then like what it works into Autodesk, it's Recap. Yeah, Recap Pro, and recently, so I remember 6 years ago, there was a software where you would pay thousands of dollars, like $10,000 just for the software to take a point cloud and convert it into a mesh. And a lot of times you just kind of worked with the point cloud to do whatever. Now, obviously it's still not, it gives you a 3D mesh. So it's like an object that's based on the point cloud. It's not like Revit where you have things layered. You don't have your wall system set up with your chipboard.
No,
and your
but
insulation.
It's an object, right? It's an object that can be imported and then manipulated.
Yeah. I'm excited for like rendering aspects of it. Because if we can scan context to do like a rendering, we can then take Recap to automatically create this mesh. So we have the software that we already have access to and are paying for, and they've added this feature now.
We can start rendering before we build the model or as we build the model.
Yeah, or just even again, if we have to do a rendering for something, we'll have all the context in this model form. So when you hit render, it actually shows up.
Yep.
Because before it's like these point clouds are billions of points or millions of points, and it's just a little data point that has an XYZ coordinate in floating around in 3D space. And so when you put it in these models or put it in Revit, like you can see and reference stuff and draw on top of it. But like if you put it in a rendering software, which you can in Autodesk 3ds Max software, you can just dump in the point cloud. You hit render though, it's like you can see through it because it's just it's a bunch of points in space. You know, it's something's there, but like unless you model something, you know, nothing will render. Like it renders the point cloud, and it's not something you can really use.
Well, to your point, back in the day, only larger firms would be able to afford like those mesh.
Oh yeah, like you would not, you know, few person firm, small firm would never imagine being able to take a point cloud and convert it to a mesh. That's
significant. So I mean, we're at the point now for $28,000 at least for the scanner portion. Obviously, when you add your accessories in, you're probably going to be north of $35,000 for this BLK Gen 2. But Danny, we'll put a link into the show notes for this, so if you guys want to check it out, you can. But I mean, I think we're entering an era where small to medium-sized architecture firms and engineering firms can compete with anybody.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is if people don't realize the value of the scanning tools, like, you know, like at my Chicago firm, there definitely was some pushback on using some of these tools. Right. And then it became more challenging to get approval for, you know, budgets to actually like purchase some of this stuff, some of this equipment and other stuff. And to be fair, like they were, a few hundred people firm. So their IT technology budget, even just for like upgrading computers was for the whole firm
was large
because everybody was on a couple year cycle. Yeah. It's like $1 million, you know, to upgrade because you got softwares and all that. Every computer, you know, you're talking 25 grand.
And that took priority over
some of these tools.
Sure.
You know, Larson was a little, you know, here in Columbus, Larson, they were a little bit better at some of that stuff. But yeah, I would agree with you if you value it, the availability and entry point is somewhat manageable for some of these smaller to medium sized firms. So if they see value in it, and I don't see why they would see otherwise. I mean, like, again, it's really, you know, changed the way we do things. Yeah, I think more firms will have this at their fingertips basically. So yeah, I mean, recap in general too, like its integration is better with Revit. They've added features to take photos now and convert photos to actually like models and point clouds. Like the overall collaboration is just better. I
would also say like whenever we get a question from the client or from the contractor where we need to verify something and have to revert back to the scans to double check our work, like you're able to use recap to check what that is.
I pull it. Yeah. Like I'll pull it up in the mid meeting, right? I can open it up in 30 seconds and start flying around to wherever we're talking about and start checking things, checking heights of ceilings or whatever, you know, checking thicknesses of walls and floors. And yeah, it's 30 seconds and I'm there at the job site throwing measurements out there to them.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So now
it's 12 inches from floor to ceiling.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine going back to, I won't be able to get out to the site till tomorrow and I'll verify that then and we'll have the conversation. No, we can actually do this in real time when the contractor's asking.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the software side of things on the technology will also improve year over year. Like there's talk about AI powered features, you know, extracting certain things and layering certain things. So when you have your point cloud data, you can like call out the ground surface automatically, vegetation automatically, you know, wall surfaces automatically, windows automatically, doors automatically. So I mean, like, again, I think the future of some of the software stuff over the next couple of years with our new fancy scanner, you know, will definitely be we'll be able to leverage a lot more of the data that we're gathering on site.
Yeah. And this kind of goes back to the technology and AI discussion where it still needs us to operate the equipment and understand what to prompt it with. But it is certainly making our work more accurate. It's certainly streamlining what we do and saving us time. So if anything, it's just making us better at our craft, assuming we understand how to use it.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called originally, but like Recap started as like an experiment in Autodesk for basically the photogrammetry where you take the photos and it makes a model. And it was called something else back in the day. And then eventually Recap like came about, and now it's Recap Pro whatever year. And so 2025, 2026. But I remember for a project, I went out to a site and there was like some statue in the park that was like, artistic statue that was in front of the project. And we were doing the, design work, and we had a camera set up where it's like we had the park in the foreground and the building in the background. And it wasn't just a photo that I had taken, but like I used that new tool to take all the photos all the way around, and it built me a model. And then I took that model and put it in the model that we were designing the building with. And then that way, any camera view we picked, it was like had the sculpture and stuff in there for like point of reference and the park and all that. And like the client's mind was just like, this is insane. Yeah. This is so cool.
It allows us to communicate with our clients a lot better too.
Because they were able to instantly put themselves, seeing that imagery, right, as we were moving around and having the meeting with them and showing them, doing our presentation, showing them our building design. They were immediately able to like place themselves, and they had this point of reference that they knew very well. And obviously the building is at this point is make believe. It's in the computer. Nothing is built. We're designing it. Yeah. So like they were just able to better connect with the context and the design of the building, with the reference to the existing context.
And now we can layer technology where we use this software and we can put on a headset, and now you get a 3D, an immersed experience.
That's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that. But honestly, with some of this stuff with the meshing and Recap, and again, maybe we can even take and put it like into Revit or Max, and then when we put it in there, we'll output it into something like Twinmotion or Enscape, plug it into the headset. So I think there's ways to also leverage some of this new, because again, we'll have all these photos captured with the scan data. It'll all be in color, RGB, coloration. So we'll be able to take and plug it into the headset, and it'll be like you're walking around wherever. So it's going to be interesting, I think, the next couple of years.
I actually have a selfish question.
Yeah.
Just preparing myself for the next expensive thing that we have to purchase, but
it's already bought at this point.
Well, so, of course, but
you're talking about this scanner.
Yeah, after that. So with this second generation scanner, like now that we're getting into some larger restaurant projects, commercial retail, things like that, which I love doing. Are we going to be hitting the ceiling in terms of capabilities for the scanner?
No. So the scanner, honestly, the scanner we're using right now, its capabilities, like I said, 1/8 of an inch at 30 feet. Its capability is well within the realm of everything we would be doing now and over the next several years. If anything, it's approaching like overkill. So it's more than adequate for the things that we're doing to give us exactly what we need. Like I said, it's a step above where we need to be. Like the current Matterport generation scanner camera system. I would say if we had that, that's like sufficiently adequate right now, right? If we were using that platform and using that newest, latest, greatest scanner from them. So this is not adequate. This is like definitely a big step above that. So if we expanded even into bigger projects or things 5 years from now, this should still be more than capable to take that on. Obviously, if it gets beyond a certain point, then it might be worthwhile to actually look at upgrading to the RTC version or the next big boy version. So, but this for sure.
The robot dog version?
Maybe the robot dog, yeah.
Wait, can we just send it? Can it just go measure? So, do we have to be there?
I mean, I would pay $100,000 today if we could do that today. I don't know. I think even 5 years from now, I mean, some of our sites are 10 miles away.
You just see robots running down the street,
like, traveling by themselves.
Yeah, taking care of business.
Yeah, that would be cool if there was a drone version that could fly there.
Drop off the dog.
Okay.
The dog will go around and scan.
I was gonna say the drone would fly around and scan in and out of everything.
There'd be a video camera on there with our faces, and we could interact with the clients via robot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the future is so weird.
Well, according to you, we wouldn't even have to do that. It would just be AI.
Right.
It would be an AI version of Nick and an AI version of Paul talking about, we would program all the design stuff they need to know from our experience and knowledge. And then they would just interact with that AI version while we're sipping some pina colada.
I would be drinking bourbon, but you can have your pina colada.
Well, whatever. I was trying to paint a picture.
Yeah.
I think I would go with like a Manhattan or something.
All right, and then AI Nick would come back and be like, "This is what happened. Here you go."
Yeah.
Right.
And you'd be like, "Great, sounds good. You didn't mess it up this time. Good job, AI Nick. Good job."
Oh boy.
So. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but I'm definitely excited to get our hands on this. So they said it's shipping, right? So it should be here soon.
2 weeks.
Yeah. So probably not the next project we scan, but maybe a couple projects from now we'll be able to utilize the scanner on our first project. So you'll have to do a post or something on Instagram.
I will, Paul. Yeah. I can make that happen.
Yeah, like take a picture and be like, "Yeah, I got our new scanner."
Yep.
So,
and for any of you in the Columbus area, if you're interested in seeing us in action, we might just give you a special invite. So leave your comments in below and let us know if you have any questions about the scanner. Again, Danny will link to the specs on that, as well as our previous episode where we were brushing the surface on Gen 1. And I think that wraps up today's episode.
Yeah. Like I said, excited to get out there and use this guy. So maybe we'll have to report back. Hopefully everything's smooth sailing, right? Anytime something new and you change it, there's always a few bumps. So I'm sure there'll be something, but I hope not. So fingers crossed it goes smoothly. We'll report back and let you guys know how we did or how it went.
And with that said, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Cool. This has been the Arcfluence podcast. As always, you can get more information and additional content on arcfluence.com. Please subscribe on the platform of your choice and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you.